وصحبه أجمعين ربنا زدنا علما أجمعين وعلمنا الكتاب آمين. Does everybody have the homework from Monday? Alright, so if you have the homework from, was it Monday I gave it or Friday?
Monday.
Monday, right? Okay. I don't have it with me, but I'll look with someone. Alright, so the first one was write the particles and isms. Okay, so you had all of the, you had some harf jars, you had some annas, innas, laysa, wow. So let's do the, we'll go across. So with B, Paul, go do the first one.
Be him.
Be him.
Technically, that was already done for him.
So, well, first of all, what's B? What's B? With or in or for or yeah, it's a harf jar, right? So whatever follows it will become majroor. But in this case, we're attaching pronouns to it, so they don't change. But why does hum change to him?
Because it flows better.
It flows better, right? So the rule is that if any of those five attached pronouns, if there is a kasra or a ya with a sukoon before them, then the hum, the huma, the huwa, the huma, and the hunna, what happens to them? Hunna changes?
They change to him.
They change to a kasra, right? So he or actually, yeah.
Not
so,
huwa.
yeah, so who, what about ha? It stays the same. Okay, so ha doesn't change. Okay, so when you're attaching be with who, how do you say?
Bihi.
Bihi, and then bihima, and be.
Him.
Okay, what about with hunna?
Hinna.
It becomes bihinna. Okay. Okay, what about the next one? Antunna. Anyone? Bikunna. So with antunna, the attachable form is kunna, so it's bikunna. Okay. What about what is it? Antum? Bikum. And nahnu? Bina. Okay, bina. All right. Sarfraz, next one. So what's ila? What's ila mean? Two. Or four. All right. What's yeah? Ilayhi. Oh, sorry. No. Ilayhim.
Ilayhim, yeah.
Yep. And then what's ila with hunna? Ilayhinna, right? So again, you have when you go with ila, when you attach something to it, this ya opens up, so it's gonna get those two dots. Okay, ilay, and then you just add whatever you need to add. Okay, and then because it's a ya with a sukoon, it's gonna have a kasra. Okay. All right. What's ila with antunna? Ilaykunna, and with antum? Ilaykum, and then with nahnu? Ilayna. Okay, brother Afnan, next one. What's anna mean?
Ilayna.
What's anna? What's inna? Inna means indeed, right? What's anna mean? Not already?
Anna verily.
That.
Oh.
Anna means that. Alright, let's review them quickly. What's inna? Indeed. What's anna?
That.
Okay, what's lakinna?
But.
But. What about
La'alla.
la'alla?
Hopefully or
hopefully or
probably,
fear.
Probably.
And then we'll also li'anna,
because.
because, and also bi'anna is also because.
Because
Alright, so anna with hum, what is it?
yeah.
Annahum.
Annahum.
Annahum. So all you're doing is you're just attaching the attachable pronoun. Okay. What about with
Annahunna, annakunna, annakum, annana.
annana, right? Or anna. Okay. So say it again one more time loudly.
Annahum, annahunna, annakunna, annakum, annana.
Annana. Okay. Brother Najmul, what's laysa mean?
Is not.
Is not. Okay. And it's usually followed by be, right? So laysa be mudarrisin. He is not a teacher. But in this case, you're just making it for all of them. So what's laysa with whom?
Laysa.
No.
Laysa.
This was a trick. So with laysa, it conjugates like a verb, right? So you have to start with laysa, just like a regular verb. And then what's with huma?
Lasna.
Laysa.
Laisana.
Laysa. And then what's for whom? Laysu.
Laisu.
Laysu. So think of it as like a verb. Okay?
Wait, I'm sorry, so what was whom?
What's laysa with whom?
Laisa.
Laysu.
Laisu.
We're gonna do verb practice one more time. Alright, what's laysa with hunna? Lasna, that's on there. What's, okay, keep going. So what's with antunna?
Lastunna. Lastunna.
Lastunna. With antunna is lastunna. Let's go through the whole thing. Laysa.
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 Laysu.
Laisu.
Laysat.
Laysat.
Laysata.
Laisata.
Lasna.
Lasna.
Lasta.
Lasta.
Lastuma.
Lastuma.
Lastum. Lasti.
Lasti.
Lastuma.
Lastuma.
Lastunna.
Lastunna.
Lasnu.
Lasnu.
Lasna.
Lasna.
Okay, so antunna is
Lastunna.
lastunna. Antum is
Lastum.
lastum, and nahnu is
Lasna.
lasna. Alright, if you're confused here, if you got it wrong, don't worry.
I'm right there.
Sister Shireen, when I repeat something in class, it means I want you to get it in your head. So if you don't remember it, then it's okay. I'm gonna keep repeating it. It doesn't mean that, oh, I should have remembered this. It's for your good. Okay? Alright, Brother Anwar.
Yes.
What is kullu?
Kullu.
What does it mean?
Kullu means whole.
All of. Okay?
Kullu.
So when you attach it with a pronoun, you're saying all of something. Okay? So what happens when you attach it with hum?
Kulluhum.
Kulluhum, which means all of them.
All of them, yes.
Okay? Attach it with hunna.
Kulluhunna.
Kulluhunna. Okay? Talking about a group of women.
Then kullukunna.
Kullukunna.
Then kullukum.
Kullukum.
And then kulluna.
Kulluna. All of us. Okay?
Is it like kind of redundant because kum means all of them, all?
I mean, if you're specifying all of a group, right? Which is in contrast to the next one, which is ba'du, some of the group. Right? Brother Ala. Ba'du.
بعضهم
Ba'duhum.
بعضهن
Yep.
بعضكن
Ba'dukunna.
بعضكم
Yep.
بعضنا.
Ba'duna. Alright, some of us. Alright. Alright. The next one was read the following sentences. So these are all examples I took from the Quran. Okay?
Sure.
And they all have to do with verbs. Let's Alright, so let's review verbs real quick. What is a verb in Arabic called?
فاعل.
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 Fi'lun, okay? And we said that,
جالوت.
what did we say? So we said a verbal sentence begins with a
Verb.
right. Any sentence that begins with a verb is a verbal sentence. And what does a verbal sentence need? Subject, which is called
مبتدأ.
no. That's nominal sentence. It's called a fa'il. It's
Fa'il.
okay, you don't have to know the names, but I'm just writing them. Fa'il, and then there's the verb portion, which is called fi'l.
Yeah.
Fi'lun. And then there's, so this is the thing. There's two types of sentences, okay? One is just a subject and a verb. If I say, kharaju, kharaju,
خرجوا إلى المسجد
kharaju, okay? Ila al-masjid or whatever. Kharaju is actually a complete sentence. It means they went out, okay? So I have my kharaja, which is my verb, fi'l, and then this wow is my fa'il.
But Brother House, is that actually considered subject? You're talking like something that's, I mean, why is it called fa'il and then you call it mubtada? You can't translate both of it to subject.
No, it's not mubtada. Don't say mubtada.
But if it was a nominal, what do we call a subject in a nominal sentence?
Yeah. So here's the thing. In English, the subject, you use it for both verbs and regular sentences, right? So if I say the cat is black, what's the subject? Cat, right? And if I say the cat ate the mouse, what's the subject? The cat, right? So they're both in Arabic. There's in a nominal sentence, the subject is called mubtada, but in a verbal sentence, it's called a fa'il. So this is the difference. So in English, you just have one word. It's called subject, but in Arabic, it's gonna be it's gonna be either mubtada or fa'il.
That means like the one that's doing the action.
Yeah.
Fa'il.
So, well, I guess it shouldn't be if it's. This is English versus Arabic. So in Arabic you have two words for subject. Mubtada is if it's a verb nominal sentence, if it begins with a noun. Fa'il is a verbal sentence. Okay?
That's kind of short, but if someone says it's fa'il, that means it has to be a verbal sentence.
Yeah, it has to be a verb. Because it's a doer, it's from the same root, right? Fa'ala. So it's doing the action. Okay? Or if I say kharaja Muhammadun, then Muhammad is my fa'il. Okay, so there's two types of sentences. So one sentence is where you just have a subject and a verb. The other sentence is where you have a subject and a verb and what else? Object. Okay, so you have a fa'il, you have a fi'il, and then an object which is called maf'ulun bihi. Maf'ulun bihi. Okay. So this one is one where the verb needs something to do, or there needs to be something that the subject is acting upon, right? An example of this is akala tariq. التفاح. التفاحة. So where's my subject?
I have this extra.
I have.
Tariq.
Skip it.
Okay, you have an extra.
I have an extra.
Tariq.
Okay, so my subject is Tariq. He's the one who's doing the action. Where's my verb?
Akala.
Akala, and what is he eating?
The
Tufah. Right. So I have a subject, a verb, and an object. So some verbs they will just have a subject and verb. Some will need an object. They will have to have an object. Okay. And what's the rule for?
Object would be mansoob.
So object will be mansoob. And what will the the subject be? Marfu. What about in this sentence? Is it still going to be marfu?
Yes.
Yes. Still marfu. Okay. All right. So what's the first example, Brother Sunni? Yeah, the first example on the bottom.
قتل داود زلوة
Jaluta.
جالوت.
Okay, this is in Surah Baqarah. This is a story of David, right? David and Goliath and whatever. So Jalut, the Goliath in Arabic is called Jalut. Okay. So where's my, so what does it say? Identify, okay, so what would you circle as the object? Jaluta, right? So
What does
Jalut is,
Jaluta means?
sorry?
Goliath.
Goliath. It's like, it was basically like a giant or something.
It's a story.
Yeah,
Remember
it's in the
story?
Quran.
Goliath is a name.
Oh, it's a name.
It's
Yeah,
a name,
it's a
right.
name. But in this case, it's the object, right?
Right.
It's the object. And that's why it's mansub. What would you underline as a subject? Dawood, right? So Dawood is marfu' and then Jalut is mansub. Alright, next sentence, Sir Alia.
What does it katala?
Oh, what's qatala?
Killed.
Killed. So
Killed.
David killed Goliath.
Jaud.
Dawood killed Goliath or
Yes.
Goliath killed Dawood?
What is the fa'il? The subject killed the object.
Okay. Katala Dawood Goliath.
Jaluta.
Jalut.
Okay? Next sentence, Sir Alia.
So,
Daraballahu mathalan. What does that mean? Allah struck an example. Daraba, if you look in the sheet, it means to hit. But it also, and because Arabic is like a very eloquent language, it means to strike. Like, so if you strike an example, it's called daraba mathala. Okay?
Masala?
Mathala, what's mathala?
Example.
Example or a metaphor or a
How do we pronounce
story.
it? Dhahaba
So what's daraballahu mathala? Allah struck an example. What would you circle as the object? Mathalan, right? And it's mansub. And what would you underline as the subject? Allahu. And it's marfu'.
What's this in reference to? Which example?
It's in a lot of places in the Quran. Whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's talking about like,
He gives an example.
yeah, so there's one example of a servant who has two masters. There's one example of a tree that reaches to the sky, right? And also which one? And the donkey carrying the books for the people who learned the knowledge but didn't apply it, right? Alright, Sister Tahira, last one. Adhi'bu. Okay, what's dhi'bu?
Wolf.
Wolf. This is in Surat
Yusuf.
Yusuf. Okay, so when the brothers of Yusuf, they wanted to get rid of Yusuf, they told their dad that wolf came and ate him. Okay, so what would you circle as the subject? Who. Okay, so why is the who attached to the verb? Alright, so obviously so this is the thing about Arabic. You can change around the order of the subject, verb, and object. And it won't make a difference because you know what is the object. Like if I say, Tariq ate an apple, right? What if I said, Tariq an apple ate? Would that be a sentence? No, right? I can't say that. But in Arabic, because we have marfu, mansub, and majroor, we know what exactly it means. So if I want to move tufah, like here, if I want to move tufahun to before tariq, and I say akala tufaha tariq, it still makes sense. I mean, the sentence is it's still tariq ate the apple. Okay, because we know that tufah is the object because it has fatha. And we know that tariq is the subject because it has a marfu'. And this is you're going to find this a lot in the Quran where you'll see a verb, but you won't see the object, until very later on. Or you'll see the object before the verb, or you'll see the subject, right after the object. So you can do that in Arabic because you have, you know that if something is mansub, then it's going to be your object.
So this means wolf ate, right? Isn't that a complete sentence?
Yeah, so where's the subject? No.
Wolf.
Oh, the subject, I'm sorry, I thought you said
The
object.
subject is the wolf.
Wolf.
Al-dhi'bu.
Yeah,
Dhi'bu is marfu, so that's your subject. So the wolf ate him. Right, so here the him is. What if I wanted to say the wolf ate Yusuf?
Akala
Yusufu.
Idhibu akalu Yusuf.
Right, so I mean you would say, you would just take out who and you would just say akala al-dhi'bu Yusufa. Yusufa would have a fatha on it.
But, so that, the who is mansub.
Mhm. But you don't put a
say,
fatha on it.
yeah.
This is
Who is the object?
Who is the object?
the who is the object. Mabni means it's unchanged. So it means it doesn't decline. It doesn't get a fatha, dhamma or kasra depending on where it is.
The subject.
And there's just some words that you have to have it. So you can't, so like who, it's mabni. Okay.
The subject, you had that right,
But
circle the loop.
it's kind of tricky when there's like half jars
How
and
is
all
subject?
that, right?
That would be subject.
Before the object. So like the example you gave today in the email.
Yeah, so the example, let me write that again.
You see.
So sometimes, okay, let me go back to here. Prepositional phrases, like the one that I gave in the email, I said la'iba, al-waladu, ma'a, ummihi. Okay. So, when you have a prepositional phrase, it doesn't affect anything with the subject verb and subject verb object placement. Okay? So this can go anywhere, but it's going to be its own self-contained thing, right? So I can say like kharaju, or I can say kharaju ila al-masjid, or kharaju min al-bayt, right? It doesn't matter. So you're just going to keep whenever you see a harf jar and ism majroor, you just put parentheses around it. This is separate, okay? It's going to follow its own rules. Alright, does that answer your question? Okay. Oh man, how much time do we have?
We still got 20 minutes, it's 9:45,
Yeah, it's 9:25 today.
not 45.
45. Let's do some practice on verbs and then we will start lesson 3. Is the recording still on?
Yeah.
How about we've done before.
Mana'a.
We did manara. Have we done all of them? We have, I don't think we've done raka'a.
Allah.
Now what is that?
Allah.
Raka'a, let's do raka'a. What's raka'a?
Raka'a.
He made ruku'.
Oh, okay.
Made ruku', right? He bowed down.
She bowed
Ready?
down.
Raka'a.
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 Raka'u.
Raka'u.
Raka'at.
Raka'at.
Raka'ata.
Raka'at.
Raka'na.
Raka'na.
Raka'ta.
Raka'at.
Raka'tuma.
Raka'tuma.
Raka'tum.
Raka'tum.
Raka'ti.
Raka'ti.
Raka'tuma.
Raka'tuma.
Raka'tunna.
Raka'tunna.
Raka'tu.
Raka'tu.
Raka'na.
Raka'na.
Okay, he bowed.
Raka'a.
Raka'a. She bowed.
Raka'at.
Raka'at. You bowed, man.
Raka'at. Raka'ata.
Raka'ta. We bowed.
Raka'na.
Raka'na. And they bowed, a group of men.
Raka'u.
Raka'u. Okay. How about Brother Afnan? Amila. He worked. It's on the 5th column. Amila.
Amila.
He worked.
Amila. Amila. Amilu. Amilat. Amilata. Amilna.
Amilna.
عملنا عملت عملتما عملتم عملتي عملتما عملتن عملتو عملنا
MashaAllah. Huwa.
عمل
Okay. Hum.
عملا لا هم
عملوا.
عملوا
عملوا.
Anta.
أنت عملت عملت
Amilta.
عملت
Ana.
أنا عملنا
Ana.
أنا عملت عملت
عملت.
What exactly in this is Arabic is known as verbs, right?
Yeah.
Most of the
عملت
doesn't like
Brother Sarfraz, how about you?
almost to it.
Sure.
Daraba. He hit.
Daraba, darabat, daraba, daraba,
Daraba.
daraba, zarabu,
Darabu.
zarabat, zarabtum,
Darabata.
zarabata, zarabtum.
Darabna. Oh, do you have the pronouns?
Actually, I need to.
Oh, okay. Alright, so ضربنا,
ضربنا
ضربت,
ضربت
ضربتما,
ضربتما
ضربتم,
ضربتم
ضربتي,
ضربتي
ضربتما,
ضربتما
ضربتن,
ضربتن
ضربت,
ضربت ضربنا
ضربنا. Okay, she hit,
ضربت
okay, and he hit, ضربا, and we hit,
ضربنا
ضربنا. Okay. Alright, does anyone want to do it by themselves? Okay. Sister Shireen, how about you?
Which one?
You pick one.
Bada. We did that one?
Fataha?
No, bada.
Oh, bada'a.
We did one, right?
Yeah, go ahead, do it. He began. Okay.
Bada.
Mm-hmm.
Bada.
Bada'u.
Bada.
For home, right?
Okay.
Were you saying for home or for Homer?
Huma.
Okay, so bada'a.
Bada. Bada.
Mm-hmm.
Here. Bada. Bada. At.
Bada'at.
Bada. Bada. Ata.
Bada'ata. For hunna.
Bada. Bada. Na. Bada. Adna.
So remember what happens, you go, you put the third radical getsa, sukun.
Adna.
Bada'na. So there's an alif with a sukun, bada'na. Okay, keep going. For anta it's
Badata.
bada'ta.
Badata. Badatuma. Badatum.
Mhm.
Badat. Badat. No.
Bada'ti.
Badati. Badatuma. Badatunna.
Mhm.
Badana. Badatu.
Bada'tu.
Badat. Badatna.
Bada'na. Okay, it's a little tough, right? Inshallah, we'll do it. If you practice every day, you will get it. Alright, let's go to lesson 3. In the back. Actually, let's take a couple of minutes break and then we'll finish up.
If you please, or
Let's start.
he's asking.
In English, when I want to compare, when I want to compare something, right? Like if I say something is
better than
tall, okay? And I want to compare, it to something that's more tall. How do I say it? Taller. So I add an ER to make to show that it's more tall than the thing that I'm comparing it to. And if I want to say that something is, I've never seen anything more tall than that, what do I say?
tallest,
Tallest.
Most tall.
most tall, right?
Tallest.
Most tallest
Okay.
ever.
So I have tall, taller, and tallest. Okay. Similarly, I have short,
Shorter.
shorter, and shortest. What about good?
good
Good.
Better.
good better best
Good, better, and best. Right?
That's
Yeah.
That's class 1
Yeah.
grammar.
What about
Bad.
close? So close, and then something that's more close is closer, and then the most closest. Closest. Okay. So Arabic has something similar to that, where it follows similar pattern, with the exception of good, right? Good, better, best. Where it's called ism tafdeel. Ismun tafdeel. You don't have to know this name, but I'll show you. But you do have to know the pattern. I'm just writing this.
Again, this guidance.
I think my handwriting is getting worse. Tafdeel. Okay. Alright, ismu tafdeel, it just means comparative or superlative ism. Okay? You don't have to know this, the pattern you do have to know. The pattern is af'alu. Af'alu. That's the pattern.
Verse.
Af'alu. Yeah, af'alu, okay? So I'm gonna list some verbs that we learned back in book 1. What's close?
قريب.
Qaribun,
قريب
right? Qaribun. What's far?
بعيد.
Ba'idun. Say something else.
صغير.
Saghirun.
كبير
What's saghirun?
Big. Seven small.
Small.
كبير.
Kabir is big.
Kabirun is big. Okay.
جميل.
جميل
Jamilun is
Beautiful.
beautiful,
beautiful.
pretty or handsome. Kabirun. Alright. Jamilun. Okay. So all of these, you'll notice that even these, they follow a pattern. This also has a name, right? And if you had to isolate the three letter roots, what would it be for qaribun? What would be the first root? Qaf, ra, and ba.
بي.
Right? So you have qaf, ra, ba, a, da, sa, gha, ra, ka, ba, ra, jamala. So all of these they all come from roots and they all fit in a pattern. This pattern is the pattern of fa'ilun. Okay? This is also another pattern. Okay? So you have the three roots. What are you saying?
فعيل stand for
Fa'ilun, I don't know the name for it, but in this case it's basically just like a makeshift an ism and an adjective. Okay? So all you're gonna do is just take those three letter roots like qaf, ra, and ba, and put it in the pattern of this
Fa'ilun.
comparative degree. Af'alu. Okay? So for qaribun, I'm going to start, so I have the fa, ayn, lam are my three roots, right? So I'm going to start with alif, and then a fatha, and then the fa kalima is this, in this case, a qaf. What's the ra, the ayn kalima is a ra. So aqra, okay? So aqrabu means closer, okay? What about for ba'idun? So what the three roots are ba, ayn,
أبعد.
and da.
أبعد.
Ab'adu. 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 For saghirun it's asgharu. Okay. Kabirun is akbaru. Okay. What do you say in the salah? Allahu
أكبر
Allah is there. Actually, so this is hold on. Let me explain this. When we were saying in English, right, you add to make it more tall, you add an right? Taller. To make it the most tall, you add an est, right?
Yeah.
Tallest. In Arabic, you just say like aqrabu. Okay? This means it's the closest. If I put a min in front of this, and this min is optional, then it means it's closer than. So min in this case doesn't mean from. Usually min means from, right? In this case, whenever you put it in front of an ism af'al, ism tafdil, then it's going to mean something is closer or shorter or bigger than something. If I just leave it by itself, like Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Akbaru, okay, then I'm saying Allah is the greatest, the biggest, okay? If I don't put anything after Akbar, like if I don't put a min after it, that means I'm using the superlative, the biggest, okay? If I say Hamid, Hamidun Akbar, Akbaru min Sa'id, let's say. Okay, Sa'id. So I'm saying Hamid is bigger than. So I put a min there, it immediately changed it, or the meaning changed to a comparative degree. So I'm comparing Hamid and Sa'id, and I'm saying Hamid is bigger than Sa'id.
And it's interesting to know that it's min and not men.
yeah, why, it's min.
I'm saying because you're talking about person.
Yeah, I know. I mean, prepositions can have different meanings in different sentences. So in this case, it doesn't mean from, it means than, okay? But if I just leave it, if I say full stop, Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest, okay? Alright, what about with Jamilun? Ajmalu, right? So if I'm saying he is the most handsome, I'm going to say huwa
Ajmalu.
ajmalu. But if I'm comparing him to someone else, then
Huwa ajmalu min.
huwa ajmalu min whoever.
Huwa.
Okay, so I have to put min and then whoever I'm comparing. Okay, is it easy?
Huwa ajmalu.
Huwa ajmalu minhu.
So, and no adjectives, what?
So the pattern for adjectives is yeah, to put yeah between the
Not all of them. Are you talking about this one, ba'idun, salidun?
Yeah, all of those have
Yeah, so most of the time, yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Okay. Just like English, like you don't say good, gooder, goodest. In Arabic, you don't say like the word for good. Actually, yeah. For there's actually two words. So you have for good, you have hasanun, right? And how do you say better? Ahsan. Ahsan. Okay.
Ahsan.
So ahsanu is better. Also, there's another word. It's in the Quran. It's also just used regularly. Khayrun. Okay. Khayrun. In sentences, it can mean better. Like in the Quran, it says huwa khayrul lakum. Right. It is better for you. Okay. But we're gonna be using hasanun and ahsanun. Okay.
Jamilun is Ajmalu, right?
Ajmal.
So we have these two names in.
What about
Ahsan,
Jayyid? Can
Ajmal.
you make that as well, or
That's
not?
not the last
I
name.
think it's ajyad. I don't know.
So are you saying that we can't turn khayrun into?
Yeah, khayrun is by itself. You don't put that in that. It's just another word for better.
What, Khayrun?
Yeah. So what does it say? It says lesson 3.
Just 5 minutes.
Okay. So basically, read the first point of this. It's saying the same thing that we just went over. But I am going to give homework. So go to the lesson. Actually, Friday is that thing, right? The general body meeting.
So we'll skip
Is
it.
anybody going to that?
That's Saturday.
Where it is?
It's Saturday? I thought that was Friday.
Saturday.
Saturday? Okay.
What is general body meeting?
It's like a potluck.
Oh, dinner.
Saturday.
Support the masjid.
It's for the masjid, right?
Support the masjid.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I don't want to say anything, but like this, just from my own,